Oh, dear trees, you're everywhere. What is your purpose in this life that we live here? Oh, dear souls, as I stand by this great, majestic tree and recognize its divine presence, you may wonder, what is a tree in its definition? A tree, according to text and encyclopedic definitions, is a woody plant or shrub that grows in heights with branches from ground level. And as I stand next to this beautiful, majestic tree right here, do you see any similarities between me and this great tree? Well. If you looked at the artifact of this tree, you would see that in structure of a human body, it's very similar. You start from the ground level, you have the roots going into the soil. And as we stand, on this ground, our feet connect, and gives us that stability to stand, to walk, and to continue growing in our daily lives. And as you move up through the trunks, it's so similar to our legs, from our legs and our thighs going up. We see that the tree is so similar. That's the part from beneath that comes up. As just like the tree, the nutrients have to flow up to be able to produce, all of its features of its body. So too, our blood or nervous system within has the same purpose. You go up to the center of the tree, which is like our gut area or core area, if you want to just call it where the heart is, the middle section of the body. And you see that we're so similar. You go up to this level where in our body, our heads are connected to this part of our body through our necks, and we have the arms. And the part of the tree where you start seeing the branches connecting, it's very similar to us. And so you get to the top of the tree, you start seeing these branches and these leaves, and everything growing from it. And this is like the part of our head, the leaves is like our head full of hair. So the purpose of this is to simply show you the significance of trees in our daily lives. When we look at a tree, trees often bear fruits and crops, and we think its purpose is simply just to produce these fruits. But trees have so many valuable purposes here. Trees purify the air. Trees provides its nutrients to the soil. Trees work symbiotically with us, taking in our carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen to us and all the organisms that lives here through the process of photosynthesis. And so as we recognize that trees are our counterparts here on earth, living with us, and working with us symbiotically and energetically, continuing this process of life. And so for me and my great bond with the trees started even before I was born in this life. You see, my soul knew that I was meant to work in a harmonious way with trees and to greatly and deeply connect with them. And so my soul reached out to my mother and sent her a message before my birth, enlightening her to know that I am to be named a name that will represent who I am at core, that signifies the bond that I would have with these trees. And so it urged my mother to name me the name Keisha, which its definition, you will see that it means her life is one of the greatest depiction. Now, it also has this historical aspect from religious texts, even depicted in the Bible. It came from the name Kazia, and in the Bible it represents the Kazia Pie Tree. And so from birth, I was always this person who deeply connected to trees, as my name signifies life, and the trees produce the breath of life. And so I remember being the tender age of 7 and just climbing up in this beautiful, majestic cherry tree that my grandmother and grandpapa had in their yard. And I would awfully just climb up and sit in the center of the tree and connect deeply with all the four pillars of the earth, the sun, the air, all of the other trees, just looking down and embracing this life, because I know that this life has so many different aspects and layers to it. And so as I connected with the bonds of my tree, my own human story, I recognized that the trees were like, my friends. I would often go to them, especially when I was growing up in my teenage years, when I had a disagreement with my parents or friends or the family members, I would often run to the trees to provide emotional support. And they always did that because they truly understand me and connected with me, because from birth I was given a name that represented who I am at core. And as the tree continues to produce the breath of life to us, we have to recognize the significance of the trees. When you walk past the tree, greet it with the most gracious presence, because without it, our survival will be far, far down to it. And we have to recognize that, there are so many different aspects of life that keeps us living. The trees truly continue to give us the breath of life. And so, as we recognize our similarities to the trees. So, my dear friends, make sure you take care